If you started your business about freedom, but instead you bought yourself the most expensive, stressful job of your life, you're not alone, and it's not your fault. The most popular entrepreneurial advice all tells you to hustle harder, hire faster, fire faster, get bigger, generate more revenue, do more launches, create more offers, get more leads, just more and more and more and more and more. But that's exactly what keeps you trapped. The founders who escaped the entrepreneurial rat race, they do the opposite. After working with thousands of entrepreneurs from all over the globe and helping them implement systems, they help them break free of the entrepreneurial rat race. The pattern is crystal clear. I'm about to reveal to you the one skill that separates the founders that work 20 hours or less per week from those that work 80 hours or more per week, and the brutal truth about why most founders never develop it. First off, most founders are building expensive jobs, not businesses. Here's reality. Most founders quit their 9 to 5 to work 24/7. 87% of founders work more hours than their employees, and they make less than their employees. Ain't that crazy? So I have a client named Wes. When he came to start working with us, we helped him grow his business, his brand new business, from $0 to $3 million over 2 years. Now, that's not an income claim. I'm not telling you that you'll do the same thing if you work with us. I don't know you. I don't know if you have the same work ethic that Wes had. I don't know about your business and that type of stuff. I'm just giving you an example, totally for education purposes. Now, before coming to work with us, he had grown a healthcare business up to $1 million or more as well. But he said he had to grind like crazy. With this new business, we helped him grow. He was able to grow it and take vacations with his wife while his business continued to grow. And he only had to invest an hour a week serving his clients. Now, we didn't get there immediately, because immediately I was like, hey, one of the things we work with clients is free days, because we believe that time in the office is a vanity metric. It's not about how much time you invest in the office, it's how much time you can be out of the office and the business still runs. So we talked about this concept of free days, and it was like, what do you mean free days? And I was like, well, these are days where you're out of office doing other things that you do outside of business. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, these are off days. He was like, what do you mean off days? And I'm like, these are days where you don't do anything business related. He's like, what do you mean don't do anything business related? I love doing business. As entrepreneurs, we begin to get this idea that we're supposed to always be working, and it almost feels uncomfortable when we're not working. So as we worked through this whole process, he's able to start taking vacations. So he went to Bali, and he went to Dubai and took his family to Dubai, and the list goes on and on. His business continued to grow 100% without him. Now, he wasn't doing like most entrepreneurs do. They take a vacation, but they're still out of the country on vacation, but they're still working from there. No, I ain't talking about that. He was able to take a vacation, and while his business continued to grow, his team, systems, and everything worked without him. That's when you know you really have something. Revenue growth without systems creates golden handcuffs. Now, we hear about people having golden handcuffs in the corporate world, right? When they have high-paying jobs and they don't want to leave because they have golden handcuffs. In entrepreneurship, it's the exact same thing. You make a lot of money and you actually handcuffed to your business, your laptop, your phone, and all that, and you can't do any of the other things that you really enjoy doing. And as you continue to get addicted to this and you fall into this hustle culture, you get stuck in the operations instead of building a business that creates real wealth. And I'm not just talking about financial wealth, but actually time wealth as well. And time wealth is arguably more valuable than financial wealth. But there's a specific skill that changes everything, and it's called systems building. And systems building is how you buy back your life. Now, first off, what does systems building actually mean? Because most people get this totally wrong. This is not just processes, it's replacement architecture. Most people think that scale means just getting bigger, growing faster. Scale actually means duplication and multiplication. And the only way you're able to do that is replacement architecture, developing systems in the right way. And there's 3 types of systems every founder needs. There's people systems, process systems, and performance systems. I have a client named Carwan who came to us. She actually grew her company to get on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing company list as well. She came to us, she was already doing amazing. She started making $30,000, $40,000 a month. But she was working 7 days a week, totally grinding, doing everything in the business. She was doing amazing, right? But she was stuck where most people desire to get to, but she wanted to get to the $1 million mark. By implementing these 3 core systems that I just mentioned into her business, she was able to go from $30,000 a month stuck to $300,000 a month while only working 3 to 4 days a week instead of working 7 days a week. And she's actually able to be more present with her family, going to things at the school with the kids, and also getting to travel the world and actually enjoy the business she had built. Here's the beautiful thing. Each system you build buys you more time to build more systems. The mindset shift is going from doing the work to designing how the work gets done. So let's think about building a skyscraper, for example. On one end, you got the architect who actually designs the system and designs it all, right? So you have an architect and you may have an engineer who's actually doing a lot of the designing. And then once everything is designed by the architect and the engineers, they actually can get construction workers to actually come in and do the work. And they can actually get it outsourced for relatively cheap. This is why it's a big thing in America when it comes to like overseas people coming in from out of the country and things like that, you're coming in taking over the jobs of individuals who are here in America, because we got people coming in from from Mexico and other different neighboring countries who will actually come in and actually do the work for relatively cheap. Does this make sense? So when you think about it, the engineering of the systems, the designing of the systems actually are the highest value work. And then when it comes to actually doing the work, you can actually get individuals to actually implement that relatively cheap. And if you think about even knowledge working businesses, you have companies who can design and engineer the systems. I was actually speaking to a buddy of mine and partner of mine the other day, where he's built out this advertising system when it comes to ads, and he basically outsources it to a team member in the Philippines who actually comes in and do the work, but he's able to come in and do the work inside of the system that he's architected and engineered. This is the power of having that system in place. Now, if what I just said made your stomach drop because you realize you've been building a glorified job, not a business, here's the good news. I cracked the code on this exact problem. There's a simple 3-step system that helps you step back without everything falling apart and you risking revenue. I'll drop the link below, but first, let me show you why most founders who try this fail miserably. Now, here's the brutal truth why 97% of founders never master the skill. Number one is control addiction. If I don't do it, it won't get done right. You probably said that before. You probably know some other business owners that do. You probably have the core belief that if you want to do something right, you gotta what? Do it yourself. And that's poison for entrepreneurs who really want to build a company. Then you have the expertise trap. Being good at the work actually keeps you stuck doing the work. As a founder who's looking to transition into strategic CEO, you actually want to decentralize the expertise. Most entrepreneurs, they have all the information locked into their head. They haven't unpacked it so other individuals can get the expertise and actually go do something with it. So therefore, when they die, the business dies. There's a quote that I love that says, the more valuable you are to your business, the less valuable your business is. And then you have the revenue mirage. This is where you confuse busyness with business building. Activity doesn't equate to productivity. That's the bottom line. It's not about the more you do. What you will find is more is actually less. This is why the most successful founders actually become unemployable in their companies, because they shift their identities from expert to architect. So freedom comes from systems, not hustle. A business typically goes through 3 phases. Stabilization. This is where you stabilize in income, you stabilize in performance, you stabilize in team members, and then you go from a place of scale. So now you take what you stabilize and now you duplicate and multiply, because scale is simply duplication and multiply. And then you think about succession. Succession may be looking like removing you from the day-to-day, removing you from certain roles, or removing you from the business completely. Your job isn't to do the work. It's to design how the work gets done. The most powerful founders are the ones whose businesses can run without them. So here's a personal challenge for you. Start with one system this week. I want you to document one process that you do repeatedly. And then from there, I want you to give that process to somebody else to follow through and see if they can follow through the steps that you give them and actually duplicate the result. And if they can't, now you can actually go back to it and see what was left out. And now you can get it refined. So that way you can hand it off to almost anybody. And if they follow through the steps, they can actually get a specific result. And then do that again and do that again and then do that over and over and over again. If you're sitting there thinking, yeah, this sounds great, but I have no idea where to start, I get it. Most founders try to build systems, but they actually just end up creating more chaos. This is why I built something specifically for founders who are drowning in their own success. It's called the Strategic Scale Operating System. And it's the exact blueprint I use with 6, 7, and 8-figure founders to help them buy back 40+ hours per week. The link is below. Don't wait. Every day you delay is another day you're overpaying for your own job and robbing yourself of the freedom and fulfillment that you should be enjoying from your business. And if you want to see this in action, watch the next video where I show you the exact delegation process to help one founder go from answering every client call to completely removing themselves from operations. It's called Don't Delegate Anything Until You Watch This. Click the link right now.